Firstly, I'd like to thank you, Steve. Thanks, Sir Nick and Okamoso Foods for this great and well-thought course, which was very useful to everybody who has attended. This course has indeed been structured in such a way that it provides the tools which are really needed to have a successful business. As Steve has been saying, my name is Kitso Yaone, and I'm from the Northwest, the capital. I'm in Mafike, I'm from Mafike, and then it's the capital city or town of the Northwest province. In the year 2010, we as a family had decided that we wanted to start a small beef producing business. And we actually started with 7 cows. And then from then, we've been buying and selling at different auctions throughout the years. And currently, we're standing at about 48 cattle. And we also have goats, which consist of 27, which are rather 27. And these are indigenous breeds. So we are producing, we are not producing pure breeds. Our limiting factor to our business is that we are producing in a common age. So this means that our livestock has limited land and for grazing and also for browsing. So we therefore need to share the land since it's a small area, and the major, how do I put this? The major challenge is that other people within the community do not dip their animals. So we having we are having a tick problem within our area. So this therefore results in us being required to spend more on the medication and also on dips to control the external parasites. We see the family business as growing beyond what it is currently, provided that we get the land, and also we want to actually improve our management skills so that we can also improve. Yeah. So we also see ourselves as also producing vegetables in a tunnel, in a greenhouse, and this will take place in the 4-hectare land that we currently have. So this course has really provided us with all the tools required for running a successful business, from personal development to technical aspects required for a successful business. For instance, having to understand different characters of a person and how to navigate around that when you come across such a character, learning what to do and what to do and what not to do when you are pitching your business to investors, raising capital, and most importantly, having to how to get your product to your clientele for a sustainable cash flow. With all these tools, which I have learned in this course, I will have to improve, or I believe that we as a business have to improve how we do the business. The suggestion that I have for this course is that perhaps we could have a change in times in which we host these classes. This is to allow more interested participants to attend. I have noticed that at the beginning we would be around 200 attendees at the time, but then with time the number started reducing, and I would like to assume perhaps it's due to conflict between class and work. And another suggestion is that there should be another course which will help agripreneurs to improve the businesses, and this should include different modules such as maybe decision making and strategic management, and this will also assist us as agripreneurs. And my last words to all agripreneurs is that our world's population is gradually increasing at on average 2% on an annual basis. And we need to ensure that we increase the food for food security in all our countries. And also we need to contribute to job creation to help the population with the affordability of this food that we produce. So we need to start working tirelessly and to ensure that we and the next generation do not go to bed with an empty stomach. I thank you.
Once again, morning, everyone. And thanks for the opportunity that I could be part of this wonderful program, and the fact that I could also just share my thoughts today as well, while we're concluding the program. I'm just going to share briefly. We actually farming as a family trust. There's three of us, three siblings. It's myself, my sister, and my brother, together with our mother. She's also part of the program, Lady Alichoko. We are based in the Free State. Our farm is in a very small town, almost on the borders of Lesotho and South Africa, just on the edge of the Caledon River. We are based in Viepenar, and between another small town, which is Hub House. We are cattle farmers. We've got a herd of cattle and a flock of sheep. We used to have a few chickens on a smaller scale, but we are not very big on chickens, but our main focus is on cattle farming and sheep farming. Our farm manager is actually my brother, Karabo, who has a BSc degree in botany and genetics. He's also done a natural grazing and pastures management and farm management at the University of the Free State. And then my mom, who is actually the operations manager, she has a lot of experience, managerial experience in her previous work, and she's also the one with the most experience in the farming business. Cumulatively, as a family, we have, I think, all the necessary skills and competencies, because myself and my sister, we in the finance space. I'm an accountant on a full-time basis, and I'm farming part-time, and I'm also assisting the business with all our accounting work. My sister is also in the audit space, so both of us are actually assisting the farm with a lot of admin work, and we usually assist over weekends on the farm. But basically my mom and my brother are running the whole drill. And I must say, we've been farming we started on a small scale for about 15 years ago, but we have been on the farm where we're based now, which is in Viepenar, Carrierfontein, for about 10 years now. And maybe if I should share with everybody, we've got a cattle, about 80 cattle now, because we've been selling, and we've got a flock of about close to 200 sheep. And we usually sell and buy to actually keep the business going. But I must say, being part of this wonderful program, even though I do have experience in the business sector, in the finance sector, there's a few items that I can actually strongly say I could take out of the whole program, which I'm very appreciative of that I was part of this. I think my main highlight in the whole program was just having to tackle the pitching session that we had, because I think personally that's where I was falling short, and I think it will assist so that I can also put more effort to assist the business to actually, if I can put it rightly so to say, to acquire more funds, to ensure that the business is still fully functional and we are actually growing as we should, expanding, because we actually want to diversify as well. Like I've already mentioned, we into cattle farming. We would also like to expand more with the crop farming, because we do have the land, we do have the space, but we haven't explored in that regard. And I think after this program, that's one of the items that we would strongly look into as a team. And what I can suggest going forward, because it's such a wonderful course, and I think because Kito Yaona has already mentioned as well that you would find that the numbers decrease along the way. I think it's of utmost importance that maybe we should actually submit our assignments and be assessed formally. So then I think that can also motivate more people to stick around in the program, because Steve has already alluded that with us having been fed with all this information, at the end of the day, we are the ones that can actually make the change with all the tools that have been offered to us. So I really want to thank everybody, all the partners that have come on board, and I really want to thank you for this opportunity that you've given us as emerging farmers. And I want to encourage everyone, let's go out there and implement everything that we have learned, because we have been given the tools. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Felicity. Can I just ask one question again, personal curiosity? How many hectares does your farm have?
We have about 1,000, but because there's 2 families on the farm, we have about 500 left for our family.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you for answering that. But thank you for your insights and for sharing your journey. It's really great to hear how people have been able to develop what sounds like a very successful business and that has got significant potential for the future as well.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much.
As shown, I'm Dinto Taunyani, cattle farmer in Tabanso. Well, I started farming with cattle 33 years back. In 1988, I bought my first cattle as a part-time farmer. And when years go by, I increased my livestock. And in 1996, me and my former colleagues, we bought a farm. We were 3. We bought a farm in Tabanso, the same North End farm. And we registered a co-op, a trust. And that trust existed from 1996 up to 2001, and then it collapsed. After it has collapsed, everybody get to his corner. We unofficially subdivided the farm, and each one of us was using 196 or is using 196 hectares. Because of this, as Kitu has already said, one cannot grow. I only keep up to 60 breeding cattle. And every year after the breeding season, I'll have to sell all my calves, winners, so that to keep the number very small. And in 2008 up to now, I've been going in and out of the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform, looking for a bigger farm, but I have not succeeded in that. But the passion and the love of cattle has kept me going. And last year, or 2 years back, I joined the Agricultural Research Council, or on livestock improvement, beef cattle improvement. And the last year, 2020, I was the Free State finalist in that competition that they launched. And also last year, as farmers in Tabansu, we organized a bull competition. Well, somebody beat me. I was second in that bull competition. My bull got a second position. But as a business, in 2007, I registered a business, a close corporation, and my business name is Muhuruchi General Trading. And the members there, we are two. It's myself and my 31-year-old daughter. And after registering, because I've realized that each and every business must comply with the authorities, we registered the business and registered all necessary requirements for business, submitting our annual returns for auditing, submitting every after 2 months our tax returns, VAT, value-added tax returns. And that is that in short about the cattle that I was in love with it, it was a Nguni cattle. But after realizing that Nguni at the market, they are winners, they don't bring a lot of money, I removed all my Nguni bulls. I bought Simmental bulls. It's then that I've realized that I can make money through the crossbreeding. And this year I'll be culling all my Ngunis that were remaining, and I will be left with Simmental Nguni crossbreed. And now also I have bought 2 calves from Cernik, bull calves. And last year, or early this year, I got their first calves. So I'll be crossbreeding with Simmental and Bonsmara cows, bulls. And what has stood out for me in this course is realize that when you build up your market, you have to know your competitors, you have to know where you lack, you have to know your product, so that selling or promoting your product, you must be clear of that. And then as I say that, you have to know your competitors so that you can compete equally with them. And also the record keeping and bookkeeping, which is very much useful as a business person. You need to keep the records of your business, because as a registered business, you will have to account to the authorities. And even not to account, when you go to the financial institution, they will require your books to see how your business is working. And then the invited guest that stood out for me, as I've been in this business and attending courses, attending meetings, attending workshops, everywhere where I go, there's something that I learn and practice. That is why it is the reason that it's keeping me going. Bukamonso, as invited presenters, they stood out for me. And immediately after that day's presentation, I contacted my little girl and gave her information, as she is in Johannesburg. She's farming by remote, for that matter. People must know. She's farming by remote because the father is doing everything for her. but she knows everything what is going on. And Bukamoso beekeeping, I forwarded the information to her, and she contacted the Bukamoso, and we realized that this is the opportunity as farmers who've got little land to supplement or your income. Beekeeping is the way to go. And I'm sure in the next future, I'll be telling our fellow participants, because the WhatsApp group, I'm sure it will remain even after this course, that here I am, I'm now a commercial honey producer. That was outstanding for me. And as also Felicity, as mentioned, Steve, for the improvement, my suggestion that is that we've got a lot of young persons who are part of this course. And I think these are the people that are still looking forward to go forward with their farming business. If this in future, you and Cernic can look at the course, and it must be an accredited course so that they can also use the accreditation that they found here or obtained to do application for certain things that they will be needing for their farming business. I'm sure this is all, but the course as a whole, all the presentation that you people gave us, for me, they are all outstanding. Just I mentioned only those two, but they are all outstanding for me. And one have to practice and practice and practice to make his or her business successful. Thank you, Steve.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Like Stephen said, my name is Nonana. I come from CPM Farming. Our farm is based in Boshoff. Boshoff is about 90 kilometers away from Kimberley, which is one of the biggest towns, the bigger towns, and about 150 kilometers away from Bloemfontein. The farm, we acquired the farm in about 2012. It's about 1,300 hectares. We farm with cattle and beef. Our story started off as, food security, but I think it's starting to fork into regenerative agriculture. Basically, throughout this course, what I saw and experienced is that with limited land, one has to research in being more effective with the tools that you have. Yeah, because primarily our feed is for pigs. I was inspired by that video of Pierre Tami, who talked about the forgotten grain, and protein as well, who incorporated flies as a source of protein. So with things like that, you need to think out of the box. And I think part of the course, that's what came out. Research, thinking out of the box, and also the networking parts that we got. The additional material that we received from you, Stephen, was an excellent source. It basically puts a 360 imagination as to what you can achieve. Basically, I don't want to be long. My story is quite short. Suggestions of what we can improve. If we can have more presentations from local companies, like Bukamoso has done, would appreciate that. Not saying that we wouldn't like to see what other countries are doing, because the next step is also traveling into Africa and marketing our products in Africa, because I think there's a great demand in there. We shouldn't be limited to our front doorstep. I mean, we should expand and actually network with peoples out there. I think there's a true potential. Steve, I think that's about from me. Yes.
Yes, I am Simpiwe Sandlana, a livestock farmer in Nonana, which is near Peterson in the Eastern Cape. I'm about 24 kilometers from Port Elizabeth on the N10 if you take the road to Cradock. I am a livestock farmer. Maybe let me start by saying I want to thank Steve and the team that I work with for this opportunity to reflect on the course as well as to briefly share a few things about myself. I am a stock farmer. I farm with cattle, goats, a bit of free-range chicken, and I've just started game. I am on a 944 hectare list government farm. The farm is used by myself and my family, my wife, and my 3 children. What we are doing in the farm is to, like I have said, that we are livestock farmers, but our core business is in selling, or is to sell winner calves to feedlots as well as to auctions. I breed mainly Bonsmara cattle, and I really invested a lot in terms of buying bulls from stud breeders around the area. We've got quite a lot of breeders who breed with Bonsmara cattle. I have about 164 livestock cattle in the farm. About 90 of them are cows. Currently, I have about a 95% calving rate, so at least it's not too bad. But what I've realized is that farming can be very capital intensive, and therefore we decided that let's diversify so that at least we have different income streams. Hence, we're also doing chicken, free range, goats, and a bit of game. With regards to game in the farm, we have zebras, we have impalas, we have vinyalas, we have kudus, we have waterbucks. And I'm planning to perhaps next year buy in a few elands. And the intention of doing that is to look for trophy hunters, bring them in, and then we make a little bit of a money out of that. That will be used to sustain the farm. Now, in terms of what I will do differently as a result of the course, well, this business readiness course has been very valuable to me. I learned new skills, which I've begun to use in our farming operation. For me, the concept of value proposition, which is what is unique about our business, has been important. Sometimes we get shortchanged because we don't realize this aspect of the business. The other thing that I really liked about the course was, I think one of the webinars you spoke about exploring your market. How do you make sure that your product is meeting the needs of your market? Who are your competitors and what are their strengths? I really enjoyed that, that session. But going forward, as I market my products, the element of value proposition has to feature prominently in my marketing strategy. At the same time, I need to keep on scanning my market to know who is there, who is competing with me, and so that I do not lose my competitive edge. In terms of which part of the course I found most useful, I would say I want to concur with Mr. Taunyane. For me, record keeping is important. It seems to act like a painted picture or a canvas, and it would enable you to see the whole picture in terms of your expenses, your liabilities, your cash flow. And therefore, records are very important. They can tell you whether your business is improving, which items are selling, which changes you need to make. And at times, record keeping can even tell you about those hidden and unexpected costs. Now, in terms of my suggestion for the course in relation to how it could be improved, the course was a bit longish. It would have been better. It would have been better if it were an accredited course. Perhaps the question would be, would that be a possibility? Alternatively, how about condensing it into, say, 4 sessions? And my last part or parting shot would be to say, I would really like to thank Seneca, Agri Premiership Alliance, and Bakamoso Foods for expanding our horizons with new skills over the past 2 months. And the journey started, if I recall well, on the 22nd of April up to today, the 24th of June. 10 full weeks, but we enjoyed every bit of it. Thank you so much, Steve, and to all the colleagues.
Okay, thank you, Steve, and the team for the platform given. My name is Lena from South Africa in the Free State Province. And the business goes by the name of Kwalata Farming that is yet to become established, and with the assistance from the government regarding the provision of land and necessary equipment will be really of importance to put my vision into action. The reason behind the enterprise initially is for vegetable production in a tunnel, such as producing crops as potatoes, sweet peppers, and spinach, as they are of higher in need. What motivated my business idea is the fact that where I grew up, normally field crops dominated. So with my idea, I'll be complementing the food supply chain around the area, as vegetables will be produced from a local farm close by, supplied to retailers, hawkers, and to people. So in that way, it will be a way of reducing the traveling cost to the market. Now, with vegetable production, it is important to first identify your market, because before you cultivate, you must know your market, because if you don't do so, you end up cultivating without any market, and you will be forced to sell your produce at a lower price to whomever showing up. Knowing your target and your customer segments. So all these aspects came into a much clearer and broader picture when we were dealing with the marketing plan tool during the course. They really helped me to view things differently in a big perspective and understanding my unique value proposition. So according to my point of view, all the sessions of the course were very informative and very influential, not just in a business approach, but also on a personal level. Because having to implement this on a daily basis will have a positive impact on me, my decision-making in the business, my treatments towards employees or those I'm in partnership with. This will result into a healthy working environment for all and sharing the knowledge obtained. Pitching to investors was the most useful tool for me, because now I know all the necessary techniques of pitching and time. Time, it is very, very much crucial, making sure that within the given time, you make sure that all the important keys of the business are well mentioned and well explained to capture the stakeholders' attention, because through them, I'll get my business off the ground. Overall, I personally think that the course was manifest for me, but however, I think after the completion of the course, maybe after perhaps few months, we could have a session again whereby people could share how useful the course was for them. For example, to say, I've implemented this particular tool and here are the results. It depends on whichever tool they went for. Like maybe this one of pitching to investors, maybe they got the deal, or yeah, something like that. Other than that, it was a very fruitful journey I've ever came across. Hope it was beneficial to others as it was for me. Thank you, Steve.
Yes, of course, Steve. Thank you so much, Steve, for an opportunity to talk today. Thank you. Overall, I would like to say the training session actually was a bit was top-notch, actually, in a sense that according to my take, the course was supposed to be in an accredited course, actually, probably level maybe 7 in a higher education level. It could have been in a college set up or university set up, maybe for about 3 years or so. Yeah, I'm still in awe how Steve and Anne and the whole team managed to pull this off in such a short space of time. Thank you so much. What interested me the most, it was the business canvas slides, how it managed to make any kind of business setting besides agribusiness to shape and give good direction on how one can manage their business in a proper manner, you know. Well, I'm currently in a community business setup, which is an NPO, where we encourage community members to start their backyard gardens so that they can be able to feed their families and the nearby communities at large. However, after this course, it has helped me to realize that I can expand as an individual, you know, to start my small scale farming business that can grow maybe up to a commercial level. Well, I don't have so much to say since I mentioned that I'm in a community space for now, and I haven't put so much effort to what was taught in the course, but I'm hoping that I'll keep getting in touch with your team, Steve and Anne, so that I can get more ideas on how I can go about starting a small, you know, business, and that I feel passionate about since I started this course. So I would also like to thank you guys for bringing all the aspects in the industry to come and share their knowledge in the agricultural space. This definitely showed us that the sky is the limit in the farming. And as long as we set our minds and being consistent in building what we know now, we can go very far. So I'd like to thank you guys. Oh, again, I wish you guys you can add more information in the market space, because most of the farmers are struggling with the market after, you know, they have done their produce, you know, after they've done their scaling in the business. So I think marketing is another part that will assist a lot in, especially in our community as Black farmers, you know. So I thank you guys. That's all I'll say for now. Thank you.
Yes, Steve. Nice for you to choose me to present here. Yes, I'm a cattle farmer, but I also have small stock, and I'm currently thinking quite hard to start something else that will put in income more frequently, because one thing I've learned from the course was the finance income streams. That's something I have to look into. So my dad started cattle farming in 2009. In 2009, I was in grade 9, but he held my hand. Then he encouraged me to go into farming. It's something that I developed to love. So after matriculating, I decided to know I'm going to study agriculture. So I went to the Potchefstroom College of Agriculture, where I studied for 3 years, and then I did my honors in Bloemfontein, CUT, Central University of Technology, where I did management in agricultural management. After that, I decided to go full time into farming. So I farm with beef and I plant maize. Maize I don't sell, I plant it specially for feed, because I realized that because I'm on communage land, grazing becomes a very, very, very tough matter during the dry months. So at least the maize I can use and convert into feed. So currently, when we started in 2009, I started with around 14 cattle, and then I bought another 7 3s-in-1s. And then last year I had my record high number of cattle, which was 101. But then I also decided that no, I need to cull, because after going full time, I started keeping records, and then I realized that no, I had around 26 culprits that just eat from my pocket and don't bring back into the farm. So I had to seriously cull, and then this year I'm left with around 85 head of cattle. So I started with mixed breeds, but now I'm upgrading to Santa Gertrude's breed. I love Santa because it pays back. It pays back when you take it to the auction. It really, really has an effect on the scale. So it brings back money, then you can reinvest into the company. So I'm looking into other ways of making income. Hence, from the course, what I loved the most was the business canvas module. It helps in a sense that it keeps your direction focused. You can look into the business canvas and realize that no, I derailed from my plans, I need to go back. So it's a constant reminder of what you need to do. And I also liked the total addressable market tool, which helps you plan ahead, that if I have so many cows pregnant and then they start calving, then you know that from this number, I have this number of winners. So you can plan what's your income gonna be and how you're gonna manage it. So I really like those two tools. And then one thing I can suggest for the course is that you people are doing a great job. If you can just bring more people that we can relate to, like from more southern side of the, because the northern side of the world and the southern side, they might be the same, but really conditions are different. So if you bring somebody closer to home, it will be much more relatable to us, and then we can really be inspired by them. So I'd like to thank you, Steve. That's a summary of what I do right now. And I really appreciate the opportunity you gave me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Amanda Mpembe, and I'm from the Free State, and I own Labour Farms Pty Ltd, which was registered on the 3rd of August 2020, and currently operating on my father's farm, which is 173 hectares, of which 150 is for sheep farming. I'm involved also, but during weekends, and I was tasked with 20-hectare land. The type of business I ventured into is extremely challenging, but that's how it is when you're a young emerging farmer. Labour Farms is a small business which specializes in egg and meat production of ducks, as well as chickens. But I've put more work into my waterfowl business and have hopes to make sales on down and black feathers in the near future. Currently, the business has been running on personal funds and is still in search of funding. When I created the business, I had done research on these waterfowls and found that majority of them being consumed within South Africa are imported. Therefore, consumers face a lot of barriers such as language theft and low quality products. And again, the major reason being I want to create a platform where we youth with and without disabilities become active citizens through work and a learning environment where we feel respected and challenged and accountable as we strive to meet the demands of adulthood. I mean, the unemployment rate needs to come to an end. And such products, we have abilities and are producing them already ourselves instead of having to import, which plays a huge role in the unemployment rate of South Africa. I'm sorry, I'm a bit nervous.
It doesn't sound it.
Labour Farms sells free-range duck meat and eggs, as the ducks grown outdoors are more superior than that of indoor kept ducks, as they contain a higher vitamin D content, which results in bigger nutritious duck meat and increased
egg production. Currently, my markets are local farmers and immigrants, the Chinese and individuals from Bangladesh, which are sold to them at about 49 to 52 days, weighing between 2,3 and 3,2 kilograms. We also offer services such as deliveries to customers who are closer to us for free and neighboring towns on a fee. We have two types of ducks and mixed breeds of the two, which are the Muscovy duck and the Peking duck. As we all know, ducks are water birds that continuously need water, not only for drinking, but cleaning and bathing themselves. And with me, I need to regularly empty and refill the water as my little tire ponds have no filters, obviously. Newly born ducks are moved with their mothers to a separate area for 3 weeks and fed special starter feed. While some mothers leave their young ones, others remain. For these young ones, we provide them fresh level water twice a day as they play in their drinking water to avoid sickness. Our ducks, we feed them in the morning and in the evening. I try as much as possible to give them treats such as cabbage or any kind of fresh kitchen waste twice a week to avoid them consuming less of their feed, as well as and I try not to vaccinate or medicate them because I'm trying to keep my production as natural as possible. They're quite hardy birds and have never had any major health problems. All the sessions were of great importance, but one that really stood out for me was about the business model canvas. At first, I believed that it's just as the business plan, but was educated that it's not. And at some point, I wished I was educated about the canvas sooner. It would have been easier for me to have learned and understood my customers better by first identifying who they are, what they need, and where they are located, as well as which class they fall under, and how niche market products can be introduced to the mass market. The cost which will come into play with the waterfowl poultry business, the continuous maintenance of these birds. I mean, unlike the business plan, where it's just a detailed plan made to get funding, it doesn't really give solutions to issues that may arise. The business model canvas is easier to read and quicker to implement. It's one's thoughts organized and all one's different aspects of a business mapped out on a page that you can go back to reflect and plan accordingly. The 9 building blocks should complement one another in order for you to know for sure whether the business will succeed in the long run or not. Improvements to be made. The improvement was implemented as we were registered in every session that we were present. And as Mr. Spiwe has stated, the course would have been better if it were accredited. Other than that, our facilitators were very much professional and always punctual. Issues we were introduced to was network connection, and still that didn't affect us that much because regardless of that, we were all informed about sessions we couldn't attend, as links were sent and information packs were forwarded to us. There's nothing else I can say. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
I'm Daniel Dumasi, hail from the village called Seleka in the Palale municipality, near Botswana border. I do livestock farming. I love animals. And most of the time, I'm behind animals. I also do dryland farming during rainy season. I plant sorghum, mealies, jacob beans, peas, and so on. And jacob beans are selling like hotcakes. Even though there's a lot that must be done to get them right. From this course for the past 10 weeks, I've learned a lot. And from now on, I'll do things differently. Because some of the things I just do them as hobby, but after this course, I'm wiser, and there'll be a major shift from the way I was doing things. The most part of the course that fascinated me is marketing strategy, change management, and bookkeeping. At the background, I also do beekeeping. I have bees in my backyard. But I think what I've learned from this course is a lot. And I'm wiser, so to say. Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Daniel. Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay. With animals, I've sent a video where there's calves in the kraal. Because of the communal land, one cannot breed the breed you want. We share grazing, and it's a problem. But if one could get place for him aside, we'll do better. I would also like to thank Christo, who hooked me with Cernic. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. And I would like to say thank you, Pedro and Papa. They took us along and hooked us with you, Steve. And we learned a lot. And I really appreciate it. The information that you gave us, you really empowered us. And especially me, myself, I'm really empowered. That's why I say I'm wiser. I'll do things differently from now on. And I will also register my business because it was not registered. I was just doing business as usual in order to keep myself busy and put food on the table. And but I think now I'll do a business for commission from now on. In short, I would like to thank everybody who took part in this course. It helped us. You took us and you put South Africa on the map because I believe we are from different angles, different places. And even people from outside South Africa can see South Africa. We are happening. Thank you, Steve. And thanks everybody, Dr. N, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And thank you to everyone, all the participants. I'm still around. Firstly, I thank, all the stakeholders that have made this course to be able to be provided to us. And then all the facilitators, everyone, you guys have been awesome. And whatever the knowledge that you have given to us, it has been very much important. I cannot stress that more because most of everyone that has made their presentations, they have spoken to that. The other thing, it's the introduction part. Okay, I forgot to do that because I'm just looking at the time. My name is Mashiach, and I come from an auditing environment, both from the financial audit and the information systems audit. But because of the comfort of the office and the air conditioning, I then decided to venture into farming, where I inherited a small piece of land of about 2.4 hectares. I must say that people from the Free State, they are very much privileged to can have more than 20 hectares of land, that's a dream come true, especially from us people in Gauteng. If I could have that much, then I think I can do more. Our business, it started during this COVID period, when I remember it was sometime around February last year when we came back, and then just as soon as the president locks us down, and then it was a matter of saying, hey, you're doing audit from home, and then on the other hand, you're sitting, you're doing nothing. There's kids on the side, they're not going to school, there isn't anything that is happening, and then you're trying to keep your mind busy. Although I grew up with the farming interest at heart, I never had access to land or any place where I could do my farming. But as soon as the 2.4 hectares Molanyana agricultural holding was available for me, then I felt that, no, you know what, this is the opportunity for me to go into farming. And the most easiest one that I could think of that would not require me to have a bigger land was chicken farming, and farming with meat chickens, and either meat or eggs, which I will still need to fuse the two together as time goes on. But currently, I'm busy with infrastructure development on the same agricultural holding for my chicken houses, and my ultimate plan, or the maximum that I can go to on that farm, is at least if I could be able to build chicken houses that could give me plus minus 28,000 chickens per cycle, which then I also know that once I start then getting above 100 or 10,000 chickens within that, you know, community where I am, because it's a small agricultural holding, I'll start having problems with the authorities when they come to, you know, health issues and stuff. But that's the problem that I know that I'll have to face up with as time goes on. The business, because I'm from the audit environment and I know exactly how important compliance is. So as soon as we thought of venturing full-time into farming, me and my wife, and then we decided to register and formalize an entity. That's why then we're trading as Malo Poultry Farm, which is the first two characters of my name and the first two characters of my wife. So just to make things easy to introduce the business. Yeah, so our ultimate aim, as and when we're sitting down, was to say, look, we need to, as much as we are at a startup phase, but would really want to see our business participating in all facets of poultry farming, from husbandry until, you know, meat processing, which currently we're looking at starting at brooding only, and then the next portion that we're going into will be hatchery and husbandry. We're starting in the middle and then going back, and then we'll see if then we can be in a position to go into, you know, developing our own abattoir. That makes it easy for us, and then it reduces the cost. It will reduce the cost exactly of running the business. The most important thing that I've picked up from the course, I must say, it's been a very valuable course. And honestly enough, for one to pick up exactly what are the areas of improvements, although we know that at any given point in time, there should always be those areas of improvement, you know, continuous improvement in any processes. The presenters, the course material, the timing of the course, it's been out of this world. And I must say, you guys must keep up. If only maybe from where you guys are from Agripreneur Alliance, if then you can start, as other people have already proposed or suggested, it will be to either start formalizing these courses and either also making them to be, you know, accredited courses that will really benefit a lot of people. Because as I've said, I mean, the presentation process, you know, the course material, you guys have got everything in line in terms of collecting whatever. And the objective, when you go into the objective of each and every individual component that we went through, the objectives was clear, and at the end of the presentation, one would pick up to say this was the objective of the course or of the component of the training today. At the end, this was really achieved. So with that in mind, I think you guys have got it spot on. You were right on track. So if you can introduce a more technical course, I know farming it's broad. One would say introduce it into livestock farming, crop farming, and whatsoever. So you guys are expertise in that. So you'll see how then maybe you can be in a position to group all those courses and start presenting them and looking either for and training other people to be able to do presentations as you guys have done. Other than that, there isn't anything much that I am to say, except that two pickups or things that maybe from also the previous people that have made presentations that I can just talk to is that one, I've realized that maybe, especially farmers from the Free State, that made a little bit of a presentation to say, you are very much privileged, you do have land. However, the only thing that is a challenge currently with emerging farmers, or without being politically correct, is to say most of us Black farmers, we are very much operating in isolation. As people have already made presentations, I could feel that there are people who are producing crop, and then how about bringing that crop together, you know, formulating your own process where you can process your produce to make the same animal feed. Because when we go to other suppliers of feed and stuff, we feel that their costs are too high, and when we coming in, the cost already, you know, they have already been manipulated. We can't get into the market because now they then impact our production cost to be high because we're buying that at a high price and stuff. But given the number from just the 10 or so people that have presented, I could realize that there are people who are doing maize, there are people who are doing whatever sorts of, and the last gentleman that just presented, those, if you bring them together and then we start producing our own feed and supplying within the same cycle, we can be in a position to either reach a bigger market at very much reasonable cost, where then that will be able to reduce maybe our cost of production, thus then contributing to us getting profit as and when we start selling our products. So that's all what I can say, and I thank all the stakeholders, Steve and Dr. N. I thank you guys. This course has been very much informative to me, and I hope it's been so to most of the guys. Your business canvas model, it's up to scratch. That was the base and the foundation of the course, and I'm taking it with going forward.